You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. And now, it's time for the show that breaks down the options market from unusual activity alerts to market analysis, strategy overviews, listener questions, and much more. If it involves puts and calls, then our all-star panel will break it down. It's time to hit the Option Block with your host, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Media Group, and co-hosts Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, along with Mark the Greasy Meatball Sebastian and Andrew the Rock Lobster Giovinazzi from OptionPit.com.
Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Inc. is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
And now, get ready to hit the Option Block.
All right, everybody, that music means it is Monday. Time to commence another broadcast week, another trading week. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a fun weekend. Actually managed to catch some non-80s wrestling because, you know, it's not the 80s anymore, so it's kind of hard to catch 80s wrestling these days. But if there was an 80s wrestling show, that'd be kind of fun to see as well. I think Uncle Mike would probably beat me to that one. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com. as well as from the network upon which so many of you are binging out there. Good weekend on the fantasy football front as well, even though not a great one, I don't think, for my insider squad. After racing out to a commanding 2-0 start, I think this weekend might have come up short. We'll see. I think we still have a few people left to battle. Of course, with so many backup QBs playing, the starting players out there having a rough time out there. So it's an interesting time on the gridiron front. We'll break down all the results probably later this week. We'll certainly tweet it out, see who's in first place after a dust-up out there over the weekend. Of course, speaking of dust-ups, it's Monday. That means it is time once again for our weekly dust-up on the trivia battlefield. They're both getting ready, listeners. Their corners are massaging them. They got their robes on. They got their spit buckets. They are ready to do battle. First, we are joined by the unklest of Mikes, Mr. Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, as well as by the rockingest of lobsters, Andrew Giovinazzi, the SIBO alumnus himself, as he rocks the proud SIBO alumni gear. All right, with the team assembled, listeners, let's get down to business. Little 80s trivia challenge. Here we go. All right. I have drawn the card. I have reviewed it to make sure there is no wrist wrestling on the card this week. I did take a glance at them. I didn't look at the answers because I like to play along with you guys. But I will say at least a few of them definitely seem doable for you folks out there. But Uncle Mike, you are the chooser-in-chief. What are we choosing this week?
Sports and leisure.
All right. I will say this. I think you made the right call this week, sir. All right, everyone, gentlemen, get your hands on your buzzers. It will be only chat-related buzzes. Whoever I see first in there is gone. All right, here we go. This should be an easy one. What sport is known as the sweet science?
Buzz.
Oh, Andrew, you typed it. Look at you. You had it ready. It's like you've learned how to play this game. All right, he's doing pugilistic stances in the thing. What sport are we talking about, Mr. Rock Lobster?
Boxing, baby, boxing.
Yes. When I saw this one, I was like, "Oh man, Uncle Mike's gonna be mad if he doesn't pick orange this week." That's one of the few easy ones we've had in a while, and not wrist wrestling. 1 point.
And not wrestling.
Yes.
They don't call wrestling the sweet 80s wrestling the sweet science.
Even though we all know it truly was.
Back in the win column, baby.
The sweetest. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. You guys have been coming up goose eggs, so.
Yeah, there have been some, although the Mae West one was a shot. We had a shot at that one.
Mae West was fun. We all did a little learning or perhaps remembering on the one sultry Mae West. Everyone gets hung up on Marilyn Monroe and all that, but there were a few others out there. Vying
predecessors.
Yes, vying for the blonde bombshell title, and certainly Mae West had her share of zingers, if nothing else. Uncle Mike says, Uncle Mike, he appreciated the Mae West rabbit hole that he went down on the show. Did you get that one, listeners? The Sweet Science just had a big boxing show on Netflix. I think it did all right, as though it is still crazy to me that the most viewed combat sports event of all time is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Is it really?
Just a scary fact.
By the way, I'm still trying to figure out why Tyson just didn't kill that guy, but
because he's almost 60 years old and he had a heart attack like a few weeks before that, like a month or two before that on a plane.
Oh, really?
He had to be evacuated off a plane. I will say, in the history of wagering on Jake Paul on that one, when everyone was putting their money on Iron Mike Tyson, was probably some of the easiest money I've ever made. I should have emptied my account on that one because it was obvious. Just at the end of the day, the damage catches up to you. The years catch up to you. He hasn't boxed in 30 years. And he just had a serious medical issue a few months. That's why they had to move the fight. So yeah,
he's just got to punch that guy once.
He does. But he couldn't hit him. And the other kid can hit. To his credit, he can actually hit. He's become a little bit of a boxer.
I give him credit just for going in there.
1987 Iron Mike Tyson. Yeah. He obliterates that guy in 8 seconds. He wins before he walks in the ring like he did with everybody else. He intimidates the hell out of them. 2024 Mike Tyson post heart event. Little bit of a different story out there. But hey, feel free to wager on Iron Mike if there's a rematch, and I will take the other side because that will be good money as we keep on rolling right on into the trading block.
It's time to break down the latest topics, trades, and trends in the world of options. It's time for the Trading Block.
All right, listeners, let's get down to business. Did you get that? Did you know the sweet science? I don't know how sweet it is anymore. It seems like boxing. I mean, they're still making big money, these guys, so good for them, I suppose. But in terms of viewership and the cultural cachet, obviously in the 80s, everybody knew Iron Mike Tyson. That was a thing. Even later on, Holyfield, other guys. Before that, obviously, Muhammad Ali and Foreman. There were Joe Frazier. There were big names, obviously, in boxing. People, I guess, know, if you're hardcore into boxing, you know these guys like Canelo and stuff. But outside of that, I don't know if the cultural cachet is quite what it once was for the sweet science. But interesting stuff nonetheless. Is it interesting stuff out there in the markets today, listeners? The answer, yeah. It depends. Are you kind of getting bored of this slight upside kind of start to the week? I mean, if you're bullish, maybe not. You'll take any green you can get. I'm sure Uncle Mike will take it all and gobble it all down. Right now, the Dow's up less than 0.1%. It has to be up about 1/3%. So starting to get a little bit of mojo going out here. Up nearly 20 handles on the day. And the NASDAQ up nearly 0.5% out there. And our old pal VIX Cash also ticking up, which is not usually the way it works, but it is Monday, getting some weekend juice back. And certainly when we get down to these teen levels, VIX is a little bit of a weird beast to begin with. It was at about a 1590 when we kicked off the show. That puts it up about 1/3 of a point. It's ticked down to about a 1585, 1580 now, which puts it up about roughly in the ballpark of 1/4 of a point now. So still up slightly on the week. VVIX 99, up about 2 points. So VVIX, kind of the interesting indicator out there for a lot of us. Still watching that. It remains stubbornly frothy. It's been percolating and hanging out around 100, regardless of what's been going on in the broad market, regardless of what's been going on with VIX, which is kind of an interesting sign that there still are some folks out there potentially waiting for another shoe to drop or at least concerned about it. They're not really hammering VVIX the way you might expect if the all clear signal was given out there. So interesting stuff afoot. Again, It's an interesting market. We could certainly all spend a lot of time talking about the oddities therein. We have a whole show for that called Options Oddities. Check it out on theoptionsinsider.com/pro if you are intrigued. Let's go around the horn now. He did win some points, so he gets to go first. Mr. Rock Lobster, do you have any enduring memories of the sweet science? Any moments that stand out to you? Were you ringside when Mike Tyson bit off Evander Holyfield's ear? And then what else caught your eye in the markets today, sir?
I was not ringside, but I did go to Vegas for his return to boxing fight after he got out of jail. 95, I think. 95, 94.
Then when he bit the guy's whole head off?
Oh, no, he basically, that guy was out in about 25 seconds. And then both sides came into the ring. It was total mayhem in Vegas and that place. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we gotta get out of here because it was mayhem down by the ring.
Mayhem at a boxing event in Vegas. I find that hard to believe. By the way,
afterward, walking through the casino in the evening, everybody, all the celebrities were with their entourage. It was going through so I got to do that once in my life. Once was enough.
I will say our chat agrees. They say 80s era, or maybe that era you're talking about, Tyson. He beats not just Jake Paul, but the entire Paul family at once, and then bites all their ears off.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the wrestling cachet, the interest for the younger audience, has gone to UFC. And we've talked about that stock in here. TKO, as a matter of fact. You can invest directly now in that pugilistic.
I went to one of their overpriced events this weekend. There are people now going out there talking about maximizing their ticket yield because they're not charging enough. So they're kind of saying the quiet thing you're not supposed to say out loud, which is ruffled some feathers, shall we say.
Yeah, I do own some TKO though. So I'm quite happy with it. I sold puts in it until and it never I was hoping for the Vince McMahon, the smash and grab play to try to grab more shares, but it's been straight up. And then they signed that deal, and I was kind of happy.
Yeah, I too tried to grab sell some puts on the Vince crushing, and you're right, it turned right around. Just buy the stock when Vince sells it to you. I suppose that's the lesson.
I guess you got that's what you get, and you get no more from that guy. So yeah, you can invest directly in that. I will note a couple of things. Things I don't understand. So Nvidia is going to invest in OpenAI or AI something, and AI is going to buy more chips. So again, this is a very confusing daisy chain of dollars. Nvidia investing in so Nvidia is, I believe, at an all-time high right now. 182.
Which again, how often do you see the investor popping off news that they're shelling out billions of dollars, right? It's happened twice in a week with Nvidia now.
I mean, people are spending hundreds of billions.
Yes. And they're popping the stock off this news. It's wild.
And then Dan Ives says Apple, the iPhone 17, because it's so unique, is selling. Oh, it's selling well. And that stock is now back to its December highs, I believe. We peaked out there at 257.81 and we're trading 254.27. So Apple has gone from 170 back to 250 this year. A huge move. From 175 up $80, $90. So a 50% jump from the bottom. Okay. So Apple is the iPhone 17, which I won't buy that phone until 2035 probably. But anyway, it's not stopping everybody from loving Apple. And at this point, I have seen this movie before. These companies are making, listen, Apple makes tons of money. They're probably making $125 billion a year in profits, easy. But, market cap is $3.5 trillion. So I guess, You just watch them go up. That's all I can say. So another thing too is we have VIX made a bottom last week, I think, at let's see here, 14. How low did we get? We got, so that was last Friday. So this Friday, 15.15. So with the market, I believe, new all-time high. VIX cannot get away from 16. So generally, historically, this is a little warning signal. Vol can't find new bottoms. And I think part of the problem is people want to buy calls now. I think we're going to start shifting into that mode. So higher stock prices and, zone of the monk. I don't think we're going to see it ever again. Maybe next year. I don't know. Certainly it doesn't feel like in the short term. So, I think that's what we got for a market right there. It is the upside on tech with all these deals are, again, they're kind of boggling my mind, but, is anybody making money off of AI? I guess so. I guess it's bringing eyeballs and revenue and who knows what, but somebody somewhere is buying it up. However, volatility is not making new lows.
Yeah, Nvidia apparently has just endless cash to just throw at everybody. Maybe they're going to invest in you by the end of the day, Mr. Rock Lobster. And then their stock will pop again because spending money equals upside in the stock these days.
Exactly. They're going to invest. I will buy chips. They're going to invest in me. I will buy their chips and they will make another $100 billion.
That's a good way to invest. You give somebody a bunch of money to in turn buy a bunch of your product. I guess that there are worse ways to go about it than that out there. All of a sudden, Maine on the map for buying chips. How's all these chips coming to Maine? Oh, it's that Rock Lobster cash infusion. Changing the whole, forget lobster. Maine's all about chips now. As we keep on rolling to the land of the hinterlands of Chicago, where they are known for delicious gyros and lemonade and for having some sizable fairgrounds and a pretty decent Costco. Yes, it's St. Charles. Mr. Uncle Mike, sir, what's catching your eye in yet another bullish day to start the week?
I'm getting exhausted. Never before in the history of the entire stock market has there ever been a better time to sell than today.
Are you tired of your are you exhausted from your catchphrase yet, sir? It's getting to be a lot.
Oh man, I gotta keep saying it. It's like last week I kind of should have said on Thursday, but I kind of blew it off. I'm like, I can't blow it off today. And it's like we keep going up and it's like we don't really go up like by leaps and bounds. We're up 25 points today in the S&P 500, which is we've all been around long enough to know when that used to be a huge move, but now it's up only 0.4% on the day. So it's still a decent size move, I suppose, but yeah, it just keeps going up. So we're at 66.91's the high on the day today. We might get to 6,700 today. All things point to up at this point until they point to down. So we'll see where we go with this. Bonds are relatively flat on the day across the boards. And so we do have that happening. We're not getting any major bulls or bears on the bond front after the Fed announcement last week. So I'm going to continue to monitor that. But I think that's really going to give us the real tale of the market as to what it's going to do. Apple and Nvidia are the two big stories on the day today. Of course, Apple up 3.6%, up almost 9 handles on the day. Of course, Nvidia up a little over 3.5%, up at the 183 level. So we have that happening. Those are the two main things that are lighting up my tape at this point in time. Uber crossed the 100 mark, so they're doing well as well. So that's another thing that's happening. And then silver. Silver is continuing to move and let people know that they're not going away. It's interesting. I'm going to date all of us on this show. 13 years ago on this show, and we would talk about silver every day. Yes, we've been on the air that long. It's kind of crazy. But the last time silver made their big move, heading up to the high prices that they were. 2011, it did not stay there that long. It did not last that long. But right now, silver, at least the SLV, which is what I look at mostly, we're approaching the 40 mark. And then the last time that we had hit the 40 mark in silver, was September of 2011. So we are at 14-year highs with silver right now. We haven't quite hit 40 yet, but looks like we will soon, but you never know. Silver went down super fast back in 2011, and it could go down super fast right now. So a lot to be looked at there. Also, we can't leave out Big Brother Gold. Big Brother Gold is also something that we need to keep an eye on as well. Just looking at GLD, that's also a new all-time high mark today. GLD is at the 344.35 mark. We're literally 10 cents below the all-time high that was made earlier today. So we have the shiny stuff indicating that even though the markets are at all-time highs, they can do that too. And apparently they think that we might be in for some inflation because markets tend to be more accurate than government numbers. So concerns that I have are the fact that we do have all-time highs in stocks combined with all-time highs in gold at the same time. I don't think that's something that over the near term anyway is good for us bulls out there in the stock market. Last Friday, when I was doing my monthly put options, I was getting all excited. I get to roll up my monthly puts to the next month when we're at all-time highs. And so I actually got a little bit tighter in my protection and some of my, not all of the protection, but in the shorter term protection, I actually made it a little bit tighter for the coming month just out of concern, proving that I am long-term bullish and short-term cautious. So a lot going on. I like what's happening, obviously. The markets are going higher. We're at new all-time highs, but I do believe that with the VIX at under 16 and the S&P approaching the 6,700 mark, protective puts are not necessarily a bad thing.
There you go. Even the permabull in residence telling you maybe look out below for a little bit, or at least have a little bit of protection in your back pocket. But metals and the S&P making new all-time highs, that should give even the most diehard bull a little bit of pause out there, listeners. Are these markets getting some pause out there today in the options world and the vol world? Well, we're kicking off in VIX. It seems like VIX, once again, still sleeping it off from a long weekend. VIX can't even get out of bed today. The ADV is still 906,000, so anything close to 1 million contracts a day is usually a pretty wild time in VIX land. We're not going to get anywhere close to that today unless something really starts popping off later in the day in VIX. VIX really only 168,000 contracts on the tape right now in VIX land. So a whole heck of a lot of nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Unless you're really excited about the OC45s. That's the big dog out there today, such as it is 12 to 14, 15,000 of these bad boys going up. They're going up for 28 cents. So we thought, out of curiosity, you like that? Are you taking a nibble there? 28 cents October? That's a decent clip for that far up the strike chain, but we thought we'd ask you folks. Straight up, buyer or seller, no verticals or anything else. Right now, just went live a few minutes ago, 83.3% of you want to buy that bad boy. Only about 16.7% want to sell it. I get it. Naked shorting VIX is a rough road to go down. Interesting. That's still a fair amount of juice for the 45s. You're not getting that much duration at this point. You're getting less than a month. Interesting out there, listeners. That's kind of a hard one, which is why we asked the question, listeners. But again, VIX doing a whole heck of a lot of nothing, which is kind of surprising because the rest of this market looking pretty spicy. SPY closing in on 5 million contracts already. 4.85 million contracts on the tape out there in SPY land. Actually, I just re-racked it. It is up to 4.99, so almost exactly 5 million listeners. The ADV 7.89. Yeah, spoiler alert. We're going to hit that out there today in SPY, listeners. So a hot day in SPY, a pretty hot day in the S as well. About almost 2.75 million contracts on the tape in the S. The ADV out there about just a tick north of 4 million out there. So it definitely seems like it's on track to hit that. Small caps also looking pretty decent out there, 838,000. Now, bear in mind, we've had a swath of XDiv going up in a lot of these indexes, so that's kind of been gumming up the volume numbers, which is also why that ADV has skyrocketed to 1.6 million. Obviously, we're halfway towards that right now, so it seems like it is doable, but 1.6 million contracts a day is a heck of a lot of paper for the small caps. We'll see if that can maintain that, or post XDiv madness, maybe it'll come back to earth a little bit. But we're on pace to hit it today, so we'll see. Keep an eye on that as we keep an eye also on the Qs. The Qs also looking spicy out of the gate today. So it's just VIX. VIX didn't have its coffee this morning. Everything else looking pretty hot. The Qs pretty much 1 million contracts beyond what we expect this time of the morning. Usually we expect somewhere between 2.25, 2.5. 3.35 million contracts on the tape already for the Qs right now. So that is a banger. That is almost already at their ADV of a little bit north of 4 million, about 4.15 million. So the Qs looking hot, looking spicy. Really quickly, let's do a quick preview of the hot options report. Coming up later today, what is the hot option right now in the Qs? It is 203,000 of the par puts, the 600 puts. Average price for those, 61 cents. The Qs hanging out a little bit shy of 602 right now, listeners. So interesting. You like that? A little bit of dark side fun? Would you sell those for 61 cents and then have to pop some Tums for the rest of the day, listeners? Which way would you go down that Qs rabbit hole? As we keep going down our own rabbit hole, out to the single names. Let's go to number 10. And is it a hot day? The answer is yes. It is definitely a hot day. It is north of our 250,000 contract level, which is, of course, our just baseline threshold. 350 is the level where we usually say, hey, you know what? That's respectable. 450 is where we say, all right, that's a banger. We were well past that last week, which is a rare thing. Today, we're getting close to within spitting distance again. If we did this segment maybe 10 minutes from now, we'd probably be past it. It's 431 is what it cost you to break into the top 10 today. So again, this is a dense day out there on the options volume front. A lot of paper flying fast and furious. Number 10, it's the Amazonians. Like we said, 431 on the tape for them. 228.60 is where they're hanging out right now, off nearly $3 or about 1.25%. So giving some back to the market gods today. Number 9, Palantir, also giving some back to the market gods. 179.75, off about 2 2/3 or nearly 1.5%. Putting up 444,000 contracts for the number 9 spot. Number 8, Oracle. Man, roaring back to life and maintaining their place on our top 10. Oracle, number 8, 474. As you recall, they roared out of the gate a couple of weeks ago on the hot options report, taking the top spot, rallying nearly 100, actually over 100 handles intraday before settling somewhere around 80 odd handles to the upside. And if you listen to our hot options report, you knew everyone was fading the hell out of that move. It was the par puts that were lighting it up. Turned out that was the right play. Those puts went out $8 in the money, somewhere along those lines. Well, Oracle fighting its way back today, back north of the par strike, and then some. 323.25, up nearly $14.50 or 4 2/3%. So apparently that little dalliance below the par strike was really just a blip. They did not hang out there for too long. They got to right around 292 and change, listeners, before kind of turning things around. So interesting. We talked on last week on I think it was on Oddities, about some meaty puts. I think there were 295 puts in Oracle. That did not work out. So Oracle, an interesting one to watch. Number 8, 474 on the tape. Number 7, Snap. $8.50, up 35 cents or 4.25%. So Snap popping. What are they? Are they social media? Are they a device company? Are they all of the above? Whatever they are, they're moving out there today. Number 7, 573 on the tape for Snap. Number 6, good old AMDA, 161.10, up 3 3/4 or 2 1/3%. Now, just last week, we saw AMD sell off the news that Nvidia was making a sizable investment. Now Nvidia is making another sizable investment, and AMD is rallying. So here we are, listeners. It's that kind of market. Number 6, AMD, 575 on the tape. Number 5, let's go out to Intel, 29.25, off about 1/3 of a point today, or about 1.25%. So all of us, our collective 10%, shedding some value out there today, listeners. Number 5, Intel. Number 4, it's open, back to about $9, $9.05 to be precise, off about $0.50 right now, or 5.5%. But you know that literally means nothing in the world of open. It could be back to 11 or back to 7 by the end of the day, maybe even more. Who knows? It's an absolutely wild name out there, listeners. For number 4, open, 677 on the tape. Number 3, yes, all the way down at number 3, it's Tesla. No, not that crazy one-handed receiver for the Lions. No, it's Tesla. They stole our joke name for Tesla, listeners, and they actually named their receiver after. 433 and a quarter, up 7 and a quarter, or about 1.7%. So they continue to rally. If you listen to the hot options report too, the 420s were really hot. Towards the end of the week, it was 430s, but those 420s, they were paying a sizable amount for those. So they went out north of 420, but not far enough, it doesn't seem like. Maybe this week will be the hot one, but it's been a wild one. How high did we get? We got up to nearly 445 today, 444.98, which is still hard to believe, still nearly 40 handles away from the all-time high of 488.5. That was a wild level, but at this pace, they could threaten that again. So Tesla moving on the backs of all sorts of things that have nothing to do with EVs these days. So kind of interesting stuff. Number 3, Tesla, 1.8 million. Number 2, the fruit company. We were just talking about this. Rock Lobster just talking about this. Popping hard today. 254 and a third, up 883 or 3.6%. Man, this thing has been on the run. It's been a wild couple of weeks for Apple. I've said many times it's a buy the rumor, sell the fact name. We saw that play out quite literally after the iPhone announcement. Was it last week? They crushed this stock. Nobody wanted that thing. And now they want it again. And now I guess we're buy the rumor, sell the fact, and then buy the second fact, because now the folks are lining up for it. They're popping the stock again. So either way, the thing that everyone said was, nobody cared about it. Very resounding meh on the news front, the results of that. All of a sudden, people actually want to buy it. And so now people are changing their tune on whether it's revolutionary or not. Either way, number 2, 254 and about a half, up nearly $9 today. So been quite the run. Yeah, those par puts we were talking about selling earlier this year for, was it $12? Was it $18? Either way, those puts look pretty good right now. As we keep on rolling to the number 1 spot, it's Nvidia. What else could it be out there, listeners? Nvidia, number 1, 3.35 million contracts on the tape out there for Nvidia. Nvidia popping hard, defying logic and math. They spend a bunch of money and they pop hard yet again. So if that's the metric, then man, they should be spending every day. 183 and about a 10 or so, up about a little over $6, about almost 3.5%. So a good little day for them. Obviously, Rock Lobster talking about how they're now $100 billion in AI. My goodness, these numbers they're throwing around are just they boggle the mind, listeners. At a certain point, the old joke, the old Demolition Man joke about the corporations are going to become governments. These are governmental levels of spending we're talking about, listeners, which is absolutely wild. On the earnings front, it is mostly dribs and drabs. Now we do have a few names still popping off. Micron after the bell on Tuesday, and we have Costco after the bell on Thursday. What's going on in the land of Costco dogs? We will all find out on Thursday after the bell. Speaking of earnings, interesting question of the week. Well, I'm biased. I think they're all interesting, but we have a fun one this week. There's this push coming out of the White House right now to move earnings season from quarterly to semi-annually, twice a year. And so we thought that's an interesting debate to have out there. Do you agree with that? I think as options traders, most of us like more points to trade around than less, but maybe if you look at it from a 10,000-foot perspective, maybe you think differently. So I thought we'd put it out to you folks. Should we keep it quarterly or keep it go twice per year? That's fine. Or maybe you want to go crazy once per year. Get over there, add options, make your voice heard. I will reveal the early results a little bit later in the show. But now it's time to keep on rolling. It is time to get odd. It is time for the Odd Block.
It's time to break down the most interesting, unusual, and downright questionable options activity that's been identified by theoptionsinsider.com. It's time for the Odd Block.
All right, everybody, let's get weird. Let's get wild. Let's get down to business, shall we? Let's go out to a name we haven't talked about in a little bit. This is Goodyear, ticker symbol GT. Trading 838 today, off about a dime or so today. So not a huge move for them, roughly 1%. On the year, it's had a little bit more tumult. It was 8.25 a year ago, so it's up Actually, it was 806 a year ago, so it's up about a third of a buck, or about 4%. It has shot up a few times, shot up to about $11 exactly on December 2nd before falling back to earth. Got back down to 817 on February 13th before popping hard. A week later, February 19th, it was trading almost $11 again. So wild ride for rubber out there, listeners, and indeed tires out there. Then falling back to earth yet again. March 3rd is back to $8 and change. Then it rallied June 10th, hit its high for the year, $12.03, and then started falling out of bed. And then August 7th, it fell off a cliff and went from 10 and a quarter to the next session was 8, but pretty much 8 and a quarter. So it fell out of bed $2. It's been kind of vacillating in this range ever since. So obviously a rough year, tariffs, a lot of things going on out there in the Goodyear landscape that make things complicated from that perspective out there. But yeah, it's a intriguing one. Let's see what our eye of Sauron spotted out here in good old GT this morning. And you know what? It looks like maybe somebody's feeling a little bit of the old animal spirits here in GT, because they came in this morning. They said, no 10s. How are those bad boys? They got 15 cents at a quarter. The stock was pretty much right here, $8.35. They got, again, 15 cents at a quarter. Not a terrible market for a good year out of the money calls. And they said, you know what, good sir? I will pay 24 cents for 6,250 of those bad boys. Important note here, earnings are on November 3rd, so these are very much an earnings-related play as well. Maybe that changes your mind as well, that Goodyear can maybe get back to those levels. Like we said, it has been a topsy-turvy year out there. This rubber company can bounce, pun intended, out there. So maybe someone's looking to catch one of those. 10 and a quarter, obviously, is your break even roughly on those. So we've gotten up to about $12 or flirted with it once, and other times got up to about 10 and 3/4, 11 and change. So it can blow through that strike. Maybe you catch a bit of a jumping fish out there, to make an analogy maybe the Rock Lobster can understand. Then perhaps you got a good one here. Mr. Rock Lobster, you down for a little bit of catching the old bounce in Goodyear tire, sir?
You rolled so many bouncy puns in that intro. I lost count.
I am quite the punster today. Yes, I had my coffee this morning.
I recall there was some activity in this one last year. Big firm, like one of those management shakeup funds. I thought we highlighted this. Maybe it was even in oddities. I remember buying.
Yeah, there was some corporate action in this weird one. Yeah, not that long ago. You're right.
Yeah. So there was something, and the stock is lower. Again, this is like one of those, value play stocks. Like, is AI going to help Goodyear Tire sell more tires? Probably not. Is making tires a profitable business? I guess so. Little spotty earnings here and there. What was this stock? At one time, this was a $35 stock. It is now an $8 stock. So, and what I have noticed, just, all the money is going to Apple and Nvidia and everybody else. Like, the amount of dollars those companies have absorbed and the valuations on them is, I'm saying they make a lot of money, but man, they are not cheap. But they go up. And Goodyear Tire, does not. So market cap is $2 billion in the stock. Revenue a year is $18 billion. That's trading 4 times their last year's profits. So I guess, but they're going to sell X 100 million tires a year, and that's it forever. So it's one of those hard things that, off and on, maybe some financial shenanigans can make some money in there. I don't think the calls are unreasonable. They got a shot. Stock's got a shot to go back there. But buying out of the money calls in this thing, they have to know something, or something's got to be announced, I would guess, to make some money in it. There's no growth in Goodyear Tire. I don't know what kind of new tires they're making, maybe new skateboard wheels. I don't know, but they're not. It's just one of those companies that They don't pay a dividend anymore, so there's not a lot of reasons to want to own.
That's why they're off. That's why they're off your radar. No divvy. Rock Lobster likes a little bit of yield with his morning.
I like
coffee.
a little divvy on one of those value companies. But they haven't paid anything, and like, so I just have to. I gotta be out. It could be a fun company for somebody, but at this point, it's all financial shenanigans to make it worth more money.
Yeah, I guess if you want to be glass half full, you're not paying a ton. You're getting a little bit of duration, and you get an earnings announcement. So I guess
you got a shot.
I guess if you want a cheap nibble, then there you go. It's going to take quite the bounce to make these pay off, but at least you got a catalyst in your back pocket. And you got some time. And you know they're not going to erode too aggressively because you got earnings on the 3rd. So at least you got a little bit of time. So I guess if you want the glass half full take, maybe that's it. As we keep on rolling, let's pay off one more. Then we got to get to the unk list of mics. Let's go out to our August 28th show. We have such a backlog of trades and names that we're tracking all the time. We're always adding to it day after day, show after show, listeners. We got to clear some out and tell you how they worked out, too. Let's go out to the August 28th show. So we're going out not even a month, 3 weeks, listeners. This was a newcomer, Smurfit. This is we were joking about Smurfit on the show. That's right. Smurfit West Rock PLC, Irish corrugated paper packaging company. Say all that 5 times fast. My goodness. Corrugated paper pack. That's a lot of plosives in one sentence. Ticker symbol SW, listeners. 43.43 today, off about 38 cents. On the year, it's been not a great year, off about 3 1/3 or 7%, but not a dumpster fire either. They got to their low of $37, pretty much exactly on April 8th, and have been fighting their way back ever since. On the August 28th show, Mr. Rock Lobster, we talked about somebody, they were feeling good. They were feeling their oats. They were feeling the animal spirits of corrugated paper packaging because they came in and said, SEP 50s, how are they? The stock at the time was 45 2/3, so over a couple of bucks above where it is right now. And the market they got was 15 cents at 35. That's kind of the market I expect, more of something like this than the other one, a dime wide, wasn't too bad of a market. But they said, you know what, 35 cents, I will pay 36 cents for 3,000 of these bad boys. Obviously, they had to pay through that offer. That offer not really good for 3,000 in good old Smurfette. There were earnings, but not in the lifespan of this announcement. The earnings haven't happened yet. They're on October 29th, so no earnings baked into this bad boy. So it was just a straight up swing for the upside fences in Smurfette. And I told you where the stock is right now. That probably doesn't bode well for where it was on September expiration. Yeah, the stock went out on Friday, listeners, $43.82. A pretty far cry from the 50 strike. These were still open. They were all still open. So unfortunately, no bueno for these bad boys. Paper rode them to oblivion. They're out a little over $100,000 now, about $108,000. Mr. Rock Lobster, they flew too close to the sun in corrugated paper packaging. But who among us hasn't done that once or twice? Rolled the bones on corrugated paper and lived to pay the price, Mr. Rock Lobster. We've all been there.
Roll the bones on, oh my God, Smurfit. Oh, this company has had so many names. It used to be Smurfit. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of all the names I've seen this thing trade for after buyout, after buyout, after buyout, after buyout. Again, industrial company call buying. Not my favorite thing to do unless you're trying to go for a big market swing back. The September ordinary, yeah, I think they're. I think if you're paying this one off, I think they're out of luck on this one, if I'm not mistaken.
No joy in Smurf Village this week, listeners.
And what's fear? You look at these stocks, right, and you look at the market at all-time highs, and I hate to say it's hard to look at the market without okay, these stocks aren't performing at all, but the Mag 7 is insane still, or Mag 8. We could add, Netflix and AVGO. And they are endable energy stocks. So, but I just look at stocks like this, and it's you would think there would be a little bit of sunshine on some names like this, but it appears not, sir. At least right now.
It appears Gargamel has hunted them down this time, but maybe next time they shall have their day in the sun. But you know what? It's Monday. That means it's Uncle Mike's day in the sun. It is time for the strategy block.
It's time to dispense options, wit, wisdom, and education. It's time for the strategy block.
All right, Uncle Mike, sir, let's get down to business. Our chat is complaining about no juice for the wheel in silver. What you got for us this week on the strategy block, sir?
What was that stock we were just talking about? Teldar Paper?
It was good old Smurfit.
Got it. Anyway, so for today, what I want to go through, just had a little bit of my inner Gordon Gekko coming through, I guess. It's important not to submit to your greed. So in other words, sometimes greed is good if you're right, but since we're talking about, since I decided to bring up Teldar Paper out of for no reason, greed can be a little bit scary.
Why can't you go blue horseshoe like the rest of us, Uncle Mike?
Well, because Teldar Paper, man. I mean, that's where greed is good, and that's where it saves the American dream. I'm trying to go with the theme here of my strategy block. So anyway, if we still have any listeners left that aren't confused with the rabbit hole we just went down, what I want to go through is where I'm at with trading rules and keeping them and setting them in the first place. So, for example, I try to have my trading rules and my investing rules with a little bit of leeway in them. Not a lot, but a little bit. So in other words, one of the things that I'll do if I'm in a levered short premium trade, like a short vertical, once I get to the potential of making 80% of the potential profit, I'm out. So in other words, if I sold a put spread for $1, if that put spread is trading at 20 cents, I'm out. Now, if I'm not levered, then I would do wheel trades and things like that and just let assignment happen at times. Just depends on the trade. But for that, that's a very strict rule of mine. Now, in reality, I do allow myself to where if I'm sitting by my computer and I can get out of that put spread for, say, 21 cents instead of 20 cents in that example, I'm just going to do it. Because if it's something more conservative, then yes, I am breaking my rule technically, but I allow for a little bit of leeway when such things happen. Now, for example, what I've been doing on one of my strategies, not the buy and hold strategies. Buy and hold means buy and hold. So there's stocks that I'm holding on to that I'm going to ride up, and I'm probably going to ride down if we get a near-term pullback. But that's okay because it's buy and hold, and I'm sticking to my rules. But on the hedge section of the portfolio, I tightened it up a little bit this month. Reasons being are that we are at new all-time highs. We have a very reasonably priced VIX, in my opinion, for buying protective put options. And we're heading into October, which is typically a pretty crazy month throughout market history. And so it's for those reasons, instead of buying put options, typically 4 to 5% out of the money in this one specific strategy I'm doing, I went about a little over 2% out of the money. So if we pull back, then I'll be in a better spot. But I decided that paying a little bit extra on the put options this month, not a lot, a little bit extra to get the extra protection, it was a good risk reward. And so from there, I allow myself certain leeway to have a rule range, not an exact hard and fast number with certain things. And I think that's important to do. Now, if it was any closer than 2%, I would not do it. But because I allow myself to come close to around 2%, then I feel comfortable doing that. And I think it's important to have some trading strategies to where you have a little bit of leeway and have a rule range, but also have trading strategies that are hard and fast, that this is what I'm doing, this is what I got to do. Me personally, I tend to have more of them with range on them. And that's how I've stuck around for a lot of years. And that is my strategy for today.
Blue Horseshoe likes trading ranges on Teldar Paper. That's all I'm going to say.
Aha!
Out there, Mr. Uncle Mike. As we keep on rolling, it is time to go around the block.
It's time to tell you what we'll be watching on our trading screens until the next episode. It's time for Around the Block.
All right, everybody, let's go around the block. Tell you what we're keeping an eye on until our next episode on Thursday with the Flow Master. Coming into the end of the show, we're hanging out pretty close to where we were at the start of the show, ticking up slightly, pretty much across the board, including in VIX Cash. The Dow up nearly 0.2% now. The S&P up about 0.4%. NASDAQ up about 0.6%. And VIX Cash flirting with the 16 handle right now. So ticking up a little bit from where we were to start the show. But everything else pretty much hanging out the same. Let's go around the horn. Mr. Rock Lobster, we'll start with you, sir. What are you keeping an eye on till the Thursday episode?
He muted. That should be half a point deduction.
The two of you going back and forth in the mute battle this week. All right, and tell you what, Mr. Uncle Mike, we will start with you, sir. What are you keeping an eye on until the Thursday show?
Keeping an eye on the precious metals and stock market relationship with which we now have. They're both around all-time highs, or at least gold is, and just continuing to see which shoe will drop first, or if stocks drop first and metals go up, or vice versa. I think that's a very fascinating relationship right now.
Do you agree with our chat that the juice is not worth the squeeze in silver right now to wheel into it, sir?
I would be very concerned because, like, where I'm at with silver, I was looking at this on Friday. At the money juice appeared to be pretty juicy, but if you wanted to, say, sell, just looking at silver right now, let's just say it's at 40. I don't think I'd want to sell like a 39 or a 38 to get into it. No, I think it's there. But if you own it and you want to sell a 40, you can get 2.5% for 3.5 weeks. I don't think that's too bad. But as you get further out of the money or further in the money, I think I would agree with that.
All right, let's try one more try for the Rock Lobster. Are you there, sir, or have the clam pirates fully stolen you away?
No, I'm still here. I invoked before, and the clam pirate stole me.
Yes,
no,
you were completely muted for about 5 minutes. We thought you were dead.
I thought Mike was doing his thing. So anyway, I am back.
What? It sounds like eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the same time, which is highly conducive to quality audio, sir. What are you keeping an eye on for the rest of the week?
Well, we got these. We got the Uniparty deciding how much money to spend at the end of the month, and they passed this bigger, better bill or whatever. But they forgot that they have to still appropriate money for it, and they could still not end up it all. It's all a sham, basically. So I guess the bond market is waiting to see how that is. But on the list, it's fairly quiet for news. So mostly at this point, you just watch tech just to see how high it can go, and that's what you got.
And that music means we're done seeing how high we could go here on the show. But don't worry if you're hanging out in the pro, you want a little bit more goodness in your life. I will be back immediately in your ear holes to break down the mad world of crypto derivatives. No rest for the wicked, no waiting for you folks this week. If you want to join us on the pro side, get all this fun in your ear holes right away, exclusives, all kinds of fun stuff. Spoiler alert, we might have a really sweet pro Q&A session with Dr. Vix tomorrow. He's going to unveil some pretty cool findings he had on options unusual activity research he's done. So you're probably going to want to tune in for that one. I don't think it's officially announced yet, but I'm letting the cat out of the bag. Well, you're going to want to be around, I should say, for that one tomorrow if you can. Or check it after the fact on the Pro podcast feed. A great way to get that stuff as well. Really quickly right now, just paying off some of our questions of the day and the week. The ARC 45s and VIX, 60% of you want to buy them now for 28 cents. 40% of you want to sell them. And then on the actual question of the week, over half, 54.5% of you say twice a year is fine for you on the earnings front. That's kind of interesting. 45.5% say you want to keep it the way it is right now, quarterly. No love for once a year, 0%. I'm glad to see that. Mr. Uncle Mike, where do you fall on that debate? Would you like to see earnings season move to twice a year, or you'd like to keep it the way it is? And then where should folks go if they want more Uncle Mike goodness in their lives?
Oh, let's keep it 4 times a year. We need content to talk about on the show, by gosh.
Exactly. Now you're thinking like a content creator. Well done, sir. I salute you.
Exactly. So, I think 4 times a year makes sense. Just 6 months is too long for a bunch of skullduggery and tomfoolery to happen. So.
That's the thing. I get the sentiment that you want to ease it, but less transparency in this world right now is probably not a good thing.
Yeah, that's kind of. I think I'm definitely a fan of having it every 4 months, or if you want to maybe do two times a year, only slightly or maybe less details have to come out every twice a year, but twice a year a lot of details have to come out. I keep it the way it is. It's fine. It works. If you would like to talk more about your portfolio in general. If you're interested in working with a financial advisor who would not recommend Teldar paper, feel free to reach out to me, stcharleswealth.com. Would love to have a conversation with any of our audience members.
And Mr. Rock Lobster, same question for you. Where should they go if they want more? And also, what do you think about moving earnings season to twice a year, sir?
I like the discipline of 4 times a year, to be honest. Plus, as a content creator, heck, we need it.
Yes, we all selfishly need, and as options traders, we want more things to trade around, right?
Yeah, I guess any institution at this point, you give them like a little room, and they just wiggle into it. So I think I don't think less discipline is better for any institution in this country at this point. I have not seen it yield positive fruit up till now. 888-TRADE-01. You want to learn how to trade all this stuff? We have multiple products at Option Pit doing extraordinarily well. Oh my gosh, we trade all our own stuff. So, if you want to earn while you learn, hop over to OptionPit.com. We are on our 15th year, if you can believe it.
I can believe it because we've been doing it like 18 or something crazy, which is even wilder when I say they're coming up on 19. It's going to be nuts.
Oh, I got to go, man. I got a class. I'll see you later.
You go. You have no class. If you want Andrew to flash you, you know where to go. OptionPit.com is the place to go to learn more. And if you want more goodness in your ear holes, just stay tuned. I'll be back in your ear holes instantaneously as well. We have lots of class around here to talk all things weird, wild, and wondrous in the world of crypto derivatives. If you want to catch it after the fact, of course, theoptionsinsider.com is the place to go, or indeed check it on your favorite podcast platform if you want to get the live stuff. You want to join us for the Pro Q&A with Dr. Vix. You want to get live Advisor's Option with Mr. Matt tomorrow. All kinds of fun. Only place to get it, theoptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go. Then we're back again with our usual array of content till we're back again on Thursday, Flowmaster in hand. Another episode of the Option Block. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade, Inc. is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.